So time is rapidly running out to fine-tune preparations ahead of a huge summer. Here's the chance right from the start for Germany. Incredible. Florian Wirtz has scored inside the opening 10 seconds. Right from the kickoff.
In December 2019, a 16-year-old Florian Wirtz did the unthinkable. He scored from the halfway line just 5.05 seconds after kickoff, and he wasn't even a professional footballer yet. From that moment, Germany couldn't stop talking about him. They called him a once-in-a-lifetime talent, and Xabi Alonso, his former coach, praised him as the difference maker. Now he's the most expensive midfielder in history after his £160 million move to Liverpool, and the talks around him now are more intense than before.
I was waiting for a long time, and finally it's done, and I'm really happy.
Some say he's a generational signing. Others believe spending that much on him is a massive risk. But one thing is certain. Wirtz is Liverpool's statement of intent. He is the player they believe will lead them to winning back-to-back titles. How will he do it? Can he do it? Or will he become the most expensive flop of all time?
Florian Wirtz, yes! Magical!
Liverpool cannot afford Florian Wirtz to flop, but here is the issue. He isn't the only high-profile transfer of a forward from a Bundesliga team to the Premier League in recent years. In 2019, West Ham United signed Sebastian Haller for a club record fee worth around £45 million. He flopped, but they thought it was a one-off thing. In 2024, they signed Nicholas Füllkrug for £27 million, and he has been forgettable. In Western London, Chelsea splashed a record fee of £71 million on Kai Havertz, and also dropped £47.5 million in 2020 for Timo Werner. Both of them disappointed massively, and then in 2023, they completed the signing of Christopher Nkunku for around £50 million. But now he is a bench warmer. All these guys were stars in Germany, but they didn't live up to the hype when they got to England. So, could Wirtz be like those guys, or is he cut from a different cloth? What do you think? Whatever your conclusion is, Wirtz is a resilient and determined footballer. If he weren't, his career would have ended since that horrible incident in 2022. After making his debut on the 18th of May 2020, Wirtz exploded. He scored goals, created chance after chance, assisted, and carved defenses apart with jaw-dropping dribbles and mouth-watering passes. Wirtz could do things with the ball that most other forwards in the German league could dream of. By March 2022, when he was just 20 years old, he had scored 27 goals and had 29 assists in 85 appearances. The crazy part, he would have had more goal contributions, but on the 13th of March 2022, in a match against Köln, Wirtz went down and didn't get up. He had torn his anterior cruciate ligament, and just like that, the player who was meant to conquer the world now had to fight the greatest battle of his career against his own body. Wirtz swapped the dazzling lights of the stadium for the sterile white light of the hospital. From the passionate roars of fans, Wirtz heard the beeping sounds of the hospital. But Wirtz wasn't afraid. He wasn't worried. This was another challenge, and he was going to overcome it. However, not everyone shared his optimism. Despite the maturity of his game, Wirtz was still young and developing. Having an ACL was going to take almost a year from his development and could set him back for years. Also, players who tear their ACL usually have their explosiveness missing from their game and could become injury-prone from then on. They believed something would change when Wirtz returned, and they were right. Something did change when Wirtz returned on the 22nd of January 2023. Have Liverpool made the wrong decision? Why would they spend so much on a player who could become injury-prone? Something changed when Wirtz got back, but not for him. He became an object of fear for opponents. Bayer Leverkusen had hired Xabi Alonso when Wirtz was injured, and Alonso's new style platformed Wirtz heavily, but also didn't overburden him with all the team's creative responsibility. It looked like Wirtz never had one of the worst injuries ever. He was still rapid and nimble on his feet. No one could stop him. They couldn't even touch him, and despite returning in January 2022, Wirtz scored 4 goals and had 8 assists in 25 appearances. He was just warming up, and in the 23-24 season, Wirtz was back to his best. He was a key part of Bayer Leverkusen's beautiful brand of attacking football. He scored 18 goals and made 20 assists to help Leverkusen win the Bundesliga and the DFB Pokal without losing a single game. Wirtz maintained his level from the 24-25 season, and like in the 23-24 season, he didn't have any major injuries. While Leverkusen didn't win the DFB Pokal and the Bundesliga, Wirtz still scored 16 goals and produced 15 assists in 45 appearances. With that high level of performance and productivity, different clubs came for him. Bayern Munich, Manchester City and Liverpool wanted to sign him. Bayern want him to play on the left wing and plan him to be their third player in their attacking midfield trio of Wirtz, Jamal Musiala and Michael Olise. City want him to replace Kevin De Bruyne, which makes sense because the two have similar attacking output. And Liverpool, they want him to lead an era of dominance, and Wirtz chose to join them. Liverpool didn't care about his ACL injury. They ignored the recent history of highly rated Bundesliga forwards who have failed in the Premier League and paid £116 million for Wirtz. So why take the risk, especially when signing him could unbalance Liverpool's squad? We'll get to that soon. Liverpool spending that much on Wirtz makes sense if you look at his output since his debut. He stands out among other footballers. Since the 21-22 season, when he made his Bundesliga debut, Wirtz has had 81 goal contributions, which is the 5th best. However, what makes this impressive is that no attacking midfielder in that period made more goal contributions than he did. Although despite he is an attacking midfielder, Wirtz is highly versatile. Although he was mostly used as a left attacking midfielder under Xabi Alonso, Wirtz can play anywhere across the front lines. He can play on the wing, invert, and even as a false 9. Wirtz can play in all these positions because he can interpret space. Wirtz can receive the ball in tight spaces, and from those spaces deal damage by passing, crossing, or dribbling. His dribbling is spectacular, and he had a 49.7% dribble success rate in the 24-25 season, which makes him the most effective dribbler in the Bundesliga. However, Wirtz is not just about the fancy things he does when he is with the ball. Without the ball, Wirtz is also dangerous. He presses the opponents hard and forces them to lose the ball. He was the player who did it the most in the Bundesliga in the 24-25 season, and in the last 2 Bundesliga seasons, Wirtz has won possession in the opposition's final third 71 times, at least 15 times more than any other player. His pressing will suit Liverpool completely. They score the joint most goals from high turnovers in the Premier League in 2024-25, and with him they could score more. Relying on his pressing is one way Liverpool would utilise him. The next ways could make Liverpool vulnerable and also make them sell a couple of fan favourites. Fan favourite Curtis Jones could be looking at an exit, and it's not only him, but we'll get to that later on. Liverpool usually play a 4-2-3-1 formation with a number 10. Most of Wirtz's games in the 24-25 season were as a number 10, but just like how Cole Palmer drifts to the right-hand side or the right wing, Wirtz drifts to the left and creates from there. Liverpool has Dominik Szoboszlai, who does something like this, but Szoboszlai doesn't have Wirtz's output. He managed 8 goals and 9 assists in 49 appearances, but he makes up for that with his pressing and runs. However, Wirtz can do the pressing part like Szoboszlai, and with the ball, he is more than deadly. So for the 10 spot, Szoboszlai has to compete with Wirtz, and he is also ready to do this, but this wouldn't be much of a competition. In the 24-25 season, only Manchester City's Jeremy Doku has attempted more passes in attack than Wirtz among Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga and Serie A players. Not one single Liverpool forward has attempted more passes than Wirtz in attack. So unless he wants to come on at the very late stages of the game, Szoboszlai might have to move deeper into the midfield and rotate with Alexis McAllister as Ryan Gravenbach's partner in the midfield pivot. If Szoboszlai moves deeper into midfield, Harvey Elliott might be leaving Liverpool. Elliott missed most of the 24-25 season due to injury, but he did play 28 times and had 8 goal contributions. His work rate isn't as high as Szoboszlai's and McAllister's, which means he will fall down the pecking order even below Curtis Jones. Jones himself could be looking at an exit, but he is more versatile than Harvey and has improved on his work rate. So Liverpool could persuade him to stay and let Harvey go. Although Harvey could stay if Slot uses Wirtz on the left wing, but that would cause a problem. Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz are Slot's key players in that left wing position, although Diaz moved to the centre-forward position after Diogo Jota got injured. Gakpo and Diaz will help Liverpool create and attack the box to get crosses to the far post. Wirtz will bring dynamism to that position, because as a winger, Wirtz doesn't stretch play but drifts in to occupy the left-hand side of the pitch. Like Gakpo and Diaz, he is capable of banging in goals, but he offers so much more than them because of his ability to occupy tight spaces and create. Liverpool is open to selling Diaz, and there are rumours of Gakpo also eyeing a move to Bayern Munich. If Liverpool do end up letting Diaz go, it could be just Wirtz and Gakpo competing for the same spot. Gakpo could even move central, but if Gakpo and Diaz end up leaving, then Wirtz could be a permanent left winger, with Curtis Jones being his backup. However, as a left winger, it doesn't make sense tactically if Wirtz tracks back too much to help the defence. With this, there would be pressure on the left back, the midfield pivot and the centre-backs, especially since the right side of Liverpool has an even worse situation. Salah doesn't track back as much on the right too, and Liverpool's new right-back Jeremy Frimpong is more dangerous in attack. This means there will be a balance problem for Liverpool if Wirtz plays on the left, because the two wings can't have players who aren't contributing in defence. One of the ways this can be avoided is if Wirtz plays as a number 10, as we talked about before, or if he plays as a centre-forward. Slot loves to use his centre-forwards as false nines, and he lavished praise on Paris Saint-Germain for doing the same thing. Wirtz as a false nine is not something that will take him time to adjust to, because he has played in a similar role occasionally at Leverkusen. Playing the false nine role allows him to lead the press and force opponents to make mistakes in the build-up, just as he did when he was at Leverkusen. Also, Wirtz as a false nine would drop into the midfield to create chances for players who would occupy the centre-forward position that he vacated. That way, Wirtz wouldn't have to drop so deep and could be the player ahead to serve as an outlet for counterattacks. Liverpool broke the bank, and they have gotten their man. He is the kind of signing they should make after winning the Premier League in the 24-25 season, and he has more than enough quality to not only help them compete, but dominate. So, can he do it? We think he can, but will he do it? That remains to be seen. Or what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like the video, and hit subscribe for more player analysis.